Hi there. This is Wandai from Calgary. It's been a while, but I am going to do a book review today on this really interesting guy, and his name is called Teju Cole, and he has written the book Open City. I think this is his second book, but I will do a little book review, and I wrote a few notes on it, so I'm going to be constantly looking back and forth. So first things first, this book did really grow on me. It's not your usual book because it doesn't have a specific plot, and it's kind of more of an essay for me, I would say. And it's very meditative and it's very analytical, and there's really a quiet stillness about the way he approaches the people in the story. Um, he tends to analyze specific periods, whether they're political or personal. For example, the Idi Amin and his treacherous term as the president of Uganda, and then he sort of brings him in when he visits like an Indian host who used to live in Uganda, and he goes back to that time or period, and then he starts talking about how he was like a sort of like a mythological figure for him. Um, but anyway, so I find him very interesting. Like he just uses a lot of different juxtapositions. Um, uh, they could either be personal, they could be personal, and they could be political. So it's really fascinating. I think his and then about his chance meeting with Faroud when he goes to Brussels, and how it turns out to be this really long and interesting conversation about the otherness and the difference, and how they should put value in the difference, and that people should, and I think people should. Uh, yeah. So, and then the other thing that I found really interesting is that he spends a great deal in museums and the like, such as the folk museum. He talks about how uh, oof, I feel that he is sort of, in a way, in a sense, disconnected with Nigeria, um, because of the way he speaks about it. There's a sort of detachment to the different places, and even with his where he came from originally, and it's almost it's somewhat cold, like the way he approaches, very factual and cold, and there isn't a lot of feeling and emotion in the way he approaches places. I think that's pretty interesting. Like, a lot of people are so subjective. I know I'm subjective, but he's very objective. He just looks at things as they are. Like, yeah. And the other thing, I find this language a little bit complex, Um, like, I feel like, for example, he uses very, it's slightly complex. It's like beatific. Some of the words are like, okay, why can't you just say joyous? Just keep it more simple. Like, there's nothing wrong with being simple. But then again, he is an art historian, he's an intellectual, so it's undeniable. I guess it's really difficult for him to avoid such words. And then the next thing, yeah, I just really like the quiet tones vibrating with history's identity and sense of self or selfhood. It's rather unique, and kudos to you, Teju. I recommend that you read this book. It's not your usual fiction novel. It's very experimental, so try it.